Planet of the Fakes, and Pigstar HH News. Disclaimer. For awareness and educational purposes only. Black man, 18, shot dead by police in Washington, D.C. as Black Lives Matter calls for protests. Police shot an 18-year-old black man dead in Washington, D.C. Wednesday afternoon, sparking calls from Black Lives Matter protesters to gather at the scene. Relatives have identified Devon Kay, 18, as the man Metropolitan Police allegedly shot in the back as he was fleeing from a car police suspected to be carrying weapons. A D.C. police officer shot and killed a black man police alleged to have been carrying a gun. Credit, NBC News 4. Uniformed police officers had information that there were guys in the neighborhood with guns. Specifically, Metropolitan Police Chief Peter Newsham said in a press conference Wednesday afternoon. That's what they were looking for, and evidently that's what they found, he continued. Police had stopped a group of allegedly armed people in a car on Orange Street, SE just before 4 p.m. Police say they approached the vehicle when some of the folks in the vehicle fled on foot, Newsham said. He added that's when the officer fired his weapon at Kay. Metropolitan Police Chief Peter Newsham said he could not answer why police were shooting at people fleeing them because he would be speculating, and that would be improper. Credit, Getty. Black Lives Matter DC called for protesters to arrive at the scene upon hearing of the shooting. Credit, Twitter. Kay was taken to the hospital but could not be saved. Investigators added 2 guns were recovered at the scene, with Newsham saying Kay was believed to have been armed when officers fired. Newsham did not answer a reporter who asked why police were shooting at people who were fleeing, saying he would be speculating and that would be improper. A sobbing woman at the press conference yelled unacceptable as Newsham finished the presser. Black Lives Matter DC tweeted the news and said they were en route to the street. Breaking. At DC Police shot someone in SE. MLK Avenue. SE and Mellon Saint SE. The tweet read, "No way they get away with this. Don't let the media black this out like they always do. Don't let MPD control the narrative. Police lie. We're on our way." Freedom Fighters DC also tweeted a call to action, saying please mobilize with us. MPD will no longer control the narrative. They scheduled a protest at the scene with BLM DC at 6:30 p.m. BLM DC then commented on their post of another protest outside the Metropolitan Police Department's 7th District building at 9:30 tonight. The street where the 7th District is located on Alabama Avenue, SE, has been closed for the protests, police said. Protesters late Wednesday night had blockaded the entrance to the police building, yelling "Move back" just as DC police used their trek bikes to form a barrier between the building and protesters. Black Lives Matter DC called for its supporters to protest at the site of the shooting. Credit, NBC News 4. Newsham told reporters at a press conference police recovered 2 guns at the scene. Credit, NBC News 4. Kay's mother Natasha confirmed with a reporter her son, Devon Kay, was the victim in today's police shooting. "They took my baby, they just took my baby from me," she told the Washington Post reporter. "I need my son back, I want my son back," Earline Black, Kay's aunt, told an NPR reporter Kay had just turned 18. "I just want justice," she said. The police have yet to identify the victim or give his age. "We've seen this narrative too many times in America, and now it's hitting home," Ward 8 Council member Trayon White said. "I talked to his mom about 15 minutes ago, and we want to figure out what's on the body camera footage, to figure out if he was running away. Why was he shot? Some people say he was shot in the front, some people say he was shot in the back. We've got to figure out what the truth is and what happened with that situation," White said. "If he was running away, shot in the back," he said before pausing, "it don't sit well with me," he continued, saying police said 2 weapons were recovered, but when the question was asked, was he armed? There was no straight answer, so we want to get the facts of what happened to this young man. A woman yelled unacceptable after Newsham finished his remarks. Credit, Getty. Newsham said there is no evidence at this time connecting the shooting of an allegedly armed black man with an earlier incident Wednesday afternoon, when a shot came out of a car towards a group of police officers. Credit, Getty. He did remind people that most of the information is unconfirmed and preliminary, but will request body camera footage. The last time DC police fatally shot someone was in September of last year. New legislation passed in June requires any officer body-worn camera footage of a fatal shooting or other use of force to be made publicly available within 5 days of the incident. The legislation also requires the names of the involved officers be made public as well. Ward 8 Representative and D.C. State Board of Education Vice President Marcus Batchelor was in the area at the time of the shooting visiting his grandma. He just celebrated his 18th birthday. It's tragic, Batchelor said. We don't know a lot about the situation. Other elected officials also chimed into the incident. Ward 6 Council member Charles Allen called for body cam footage to be made available. I've spoken with Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice on the police shooting of a young man, he tweeted. We will know more soon, and with the council's police reform law, body camera video must be made public in the coming days. Tonight, I am grieving for his family, friends and our community, he continued, but, in my mind, there are very few reasons for a 17-year-old or 18-year-old young boy to be killed in our city, especially if this man was unarmed or if he was fleeing.